Hey everyone. Uh, I'm over here in the Tampa area, um, St. Petersburg, specifically Madeira Beach, and so here's the uh, here's the boardwalk, John's Pass Boardwalk, and so I'm real, everyone. I'm here, and it's a little rainy today, but it shouldn't stop anyone from coming out. So, and what can you say? Florida seems to, especially Tampa Bay, out here, a lot of pirate theme, and so there you go. I'm real, everyone. I'm here. Hi, everyone. I'm cutting back, and this is probably the end of this episode, but there you go, Tampa. Whatever you can see, it looks like the little local embassy building here. Um, that might be university right there. Um, so, wow, it's really beautiful, sunny today, better than what it was yesterday. Of course, you got this little passway here, Causeway Bridge or something like that. Anyways, I'm real. I'm in Tampa. Hey, let me cut back in and check out this guy just bored, surfing, whatever. Seems like a lot of fun. I'm gonna really have fun in Florida. Um, I'm gonna do a lot in Florida. Um, anyways, cutting out. Bye. Hello everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade here. Um, so I'm gonna do a quick chart analysis here, and if you haven't already seen, I attached a video before this. If you're all wondering where I am, I'm in Florida, and specifically I'm actually in Tampa. But since St. Petersburg is very close to Tampa, also Madeira Beach is very close to Tampa. So if you're all wondering why I'm here, I'm kind of in Florida to basically set up a node, and it basically worked out that way. I'm not here for the Bit Bowl game or the or really on any vacation per se. It just kind of all fell into place, and so but basically I'm here on business, of course, Bitcoin trading. But since it is the holidays, and I hope all of you are enjoying your holidays, I did, bring my partner, and we take our families with us. So kind of make it 2 for 1. Anyways, if you're doing what I'm doing, you can do that. You can expense all that, and it's all deductible against any other gains. So that's that. I did some research on St. Petersburg, and I'm sure a lot of you, when you hear St. Petersburg, you're thinking probably of a place in Russia. And yes, there is a St. Petersburg in Russia. Ironically, there's also a St. Petersburg in Florida. And I was wondering who is this saint and who is this Peter? Well, not really a saint. It was someone named Peter that basically took over her place, and later on was called St. Petersburg, sometimes St. Pete, or just Pete. Um, Anyways, that's in Russia from what I can tell. You may also know the place as Leningrad, just to be changed back to, well, something else, and then to be changed back to St. Petersburg. So a little history on that. As far as in Florida, from what I understand, Tampa is very interesting. I've been here before. I do enjoy it a lot. There seems to be a pirate theme out here in the Tampa Bay area, which, you know, I have to admit is interesting. Um, from what I understand about St. Petersburg in Florida, ironically, it does have a connection to Russia. Apparently, two people decide to get together and just buy the land, develop the land, and started making a city. And on a flip of a coin, it was decided to be named St. Petersburg after, ironically, a person named Peter, for after his hometown. So there's an interesting story for you. But that's not why I'm here. Although the events kind of coincide together. And I did want to go to Madeira Beach because I heard about their acceptance of Bitcoin. And as you saw from my previous video, I was on John's Pass Boardwalk. I did eat there. I didn't specifically look for any Bitcoin accepting vendors or anything. I was kind of hungry. I traveled quite a bit to get here, and I just wanted to eat, and I did. I had a steak and some crab legs, which was very good. So, anyways, my experience here in Tampa is been very pleasant so far. Again, I'm here for a very different reason. I know I mentioned in my previous episode that I would come to Florida. I would establish operations in Florida, and I'm here. And I'm going to several different places, and yeah, I'll be trading in Florida. So that's an update on that. I did say that I was going to do that, and now I'm doing it. And so, it's kind of hard to not do something when you mention it, or you say it, and you say it out loud, and you say it with conviction. And I notice when you do that, you really focus on achieving that goal. And now you have to do it, right? This is the holidays. I've noticed a lot of reduction in trading, but when I get a trade, I complete that transaction. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the night, early in the morning, on a Sunday, on a Saturday, on a holiday. When you get into Bitcoin trading, there is no day off. You become part of the network. You become a miner. Your reward is to complete and verify the transactions, and and you get a reward you get Bitcoins, which either you can convert to legal tender from a willing buyer, or you can keep it, you know. And I've I've been keeping mine. I've really felt the prices have been low enough for me to take that chance to keep all my gains in Bitcoin, my reward for the most part. And I can't stress enough that when you get into this trade, it's a commitment of a lifetime. It's not for the weak. It's for the strong. And only the strong will survive. And you have to be brave and committed. You really have to believe in what you're doing. And that's it, it can be overwhelming at times because there is no day off for you. Once you decide to become a miner, that's it. You're a miner. Just like how these exchanges right here, they trade 24/7, 356 days a year. It doesn't stop. And you have to realize when you commit yourself to becoming a miner that it doesn't stop. It never stops. It just keeps going. And if for any reason you fall, well, there's always someone behind you gonna take your place. And that's the way the network works. And it's that way for a reason because you can't stop the network. You can't stop Bitcoin. Anyways, that's kind of. I just want to say that out loud real quick because I've been noticing. It is holiday. A lot of people have not been trading or been trading less. Probably because they're taking time off, which is all right. But I've also have been hearing that for some that you can get very complacent, that for some reason just because you think things are slow, it's okay to not verify transactions, not complete transactions, what's the big deal, that kind of stuff. And it is a big deal. The network works because of the miners. And you're probably thinking, well, what kind of miner are you talking about? Are you talking about the computer miner, or well, I'm talking mainly specifically about the real world miners of this world, the physical manifestation of your computer miner that you have confirming transactions. Everything I do is a physical manifestation brought out from virtual reality into this physical world. And that may be too much for some people to comprehend and handle that. I've said it many times. I co-create with the creator, and I make it real. And when you start to understand what it means to co-create, it really, really makes a difference on how you trade. You start to understand how how empowering that is, how much responsibility that is, and how much of a difference you can make in this world. And you know, if you've seen my episodes, if you've gone from the beginning to now, you'll see the progression and the change that I've gone through. And I can only say that if you ever want to do anything like this, you may go through that same progression and change. It's not, you know, it's not for the weak. It's not for the, you know, it's not for the cowards. Although a lot of people may jump on the bandwagon, you know, I've pretty much have committed myself to see this through all the way to the end, all the way. And that may be, for some, that may be too much. That may be too much, and I understand it's not what you probably had in mind when you got into this. It's not probably what you were thinking when you got into this. You were probably thinking, you know, you were going to get rich, you were going to make money, you're going to have a lot of women in your life, and a lot of men trade bitcoins, or this is you know, whatever you were. I don't know what you were thinking really when you got into this, but if you get once you really get deep into this, to the point where things start changing for you, things are revealed in a way that that may make you feel uncomfortable. I mean, that's the only way I can put it. And a lot of power has, well, I guess a lot of power. You've empowered yourself to the point where you can literally change the world. And this is kind of why I want to go to St. Petersburg. Not St. Petersburg, Russia, but what I'm talking about is St. Petersburg, Florida, and how it was created. That two people decided to create the world in which they wanted, and they made a St. Petersburg in Florida. And I thought that was very interesting. And so one of the things that I always try to do in my travel is to learn, why am I traveling to this place? Why am I compelled to go there? And what's the reason? So as I go through all this, I learn something new, and so that's what I learned from my St. Petersburg trip. And so there you go. So let me do a quick chart analysis now. So, all right, let me see, where are we? I don't have my pen, so I'll have to use my cursor. So here it is. So I've seen the breakdown from here, and it has broken down, and it's come down here to the low point, right about here, which is very close to this low point right here. and which kind of made sense because it looks like it is ranging. I wasn't quite sure if it was going to break down further. There could be a chance that it could, and I'll kind of show you why. You see a little push up here, but you notice that it stopped right about here on this 25 period average. Let me back out further to 3 week. Let me go to a Bitstamp because it has a little bit more history, and it seems to be a little bit more with a little bit more information. So here's what I noticed here. Let me back up here. So I'm going to take some few lines here, and it really is going on a slightly slow, very slow down turn. You'll see the line here that it's slowly going down, and if you pull back further, you'll see right there. So you'll see a triangle forming here for the most part. And if you look here in particular, you'll see that it's broken down below this 10 period average, and now it's just struggling up to get back up to it, and that's kind of what you're seeing. So when you pull back further and you look at the longer time frame, what you're really seeing is a very long, very long downturn here. It's even sloping slightly down here, and you know, it wouldn't surprise me that it would touch around 250, somewhere around here, 250. If it does break through here, it may just touch up here around 365. And it'll be testing this resistant line right here, and if it breaks above it, now you got a possible breakout, which I think it's possible because mainly this has tested that breakout, which fell back down, causing it to go down. It's going to be interesting to see. This is on a 3-day period, so the problem with 3 days, you have to wait 3 days before you can see what happened. If I go into the daily, it kind of shows a little bit more here, so you can kind of see that it would possibly retest this 368, somewhere around there. Now what it needs to do is it needs to go above this particular high, which is right around 450, 475, somewhere around there. So it literally has to go above, higher than that, if it does break out of here. If not, there's the line. And the thing about what you can do about this is when you pull back is you can move this, and well, let's see how much. No, it gets out of frame. Let me see if I pull this. Nope. I'm gonna have to go back to a 3-day. But if you want a time frame on this, there you go. There you go. Pull back like this. There you go. Now you got a time frame. And what is that time frame? So you can look right here, and you can see there's a time frame. So that kind of gives you an idea of a time frame. Basically, March 5th, the week of. So when you pull out, you can kind of get a time frame of when possibly right here that it could, you know, because it's being squeezed in this triangle that's going down, that possibly it could break down further, or it's going to break out of this. My only concern is because this is a downward triangle, it's just breaking out of this main triangle right here. So it'll break out and then just fall back down and continue following this downtrend until there's some signs that it can wiggle its way, you know, wiggle its way up to an uptrend. Um, so that's what I've noticed here. So if you take that into consideration, um, a lot of people were crying about a Santa Claus rally. Um, I don't know if you all believe in Santa Claus, but apparently some people, believe in Santa Claus. But that's okay. That's all right. So, so that's my chart analysis. It's a long-term chart analysis. I hope this helps you. If you all been looking at a shorter time frame of, let me go back to a 12-hour. If you go back to a 12-hour, um, I'm not too sure what's going on. It seems like it's just a range here between this price and this price, also possibly this price here and this price, somewhere between these two pricing range right here and right here. So you'll probably see it bounce up, maybe bounce up a little bit more higher, then bounce back down, and it's going to be like that for a while. So, but the nice thing is, if it does do that, you're talking about a $200 to $300, which you can definitely still, excuse me, you can still make a gain. You can still make a gain doing all that, because as it goes up and down, just if you look at this, it moves up, down, there's probably about $2,000 worth of price action movement. So, during that time, you literally, it's possible, kind of hard, but it's literally possible to make $2,000 worth of trade per trade, depending on how many bitcoins you sold and bought and sold and bought. So as long as the price moves, whether it's up or down, you literally can still make a gain. The only time you're gonna have trouble, and I've warned this to some people already, is when you have a liquidity freeze, either in bitcoins or in whatever money you use. Some people use, I prefer using legal tender. Other people like to use other things. But in any case, it's a liquidity freeze, and what it is that you've overextended yourself, or you've overcommitted yourself, and now you're in a panic. And if you're in a panic, you can do one or two things. You can be massively selling off, and in that process, you could be losing your value. The other thing is that it can just literally run you out of business. Because if nothing is happening, no trades are going on, you're not going to get a lot of price action movement. You're not going to be able to make a gain. So, and that's a major issue. That's always been a major issue, whether it's housing, stocks, bonds, gold, Bitcoin, even money itself. The way to prevent that is to only take on the risks that you can actually handle. And I'm starting to see a lot of people overextend themselves. And I think that's very dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not you. If that's the case, what I usually do is I pull back. If I see something, if I see the warning signs, I pull back, and all those people who are not strong enough to survive, who are short-sighted, profits over people, that kind of stuff, they're not going to be here next year. They're not going to be doing this next year. They'll be starting all over again if they want to come back in. So that's my concern. Other than that, I don't see any real issues, but if there's nothing wrong with Bitcoin itself, a lot of people freak out about the price. Um, if you know how to trade Bitcoin, you know that price is not a concern as long as you know how to protect yourself against the volatility, and also how much are you willing to risk. If a lot of people are just in it to make that short-term gain, and there's a lot of people that are in it just to make that short-term gain. Um, when if you're just in it for the short-term gain, you got to remember when things are going your way, yeah, you're making the gain, but when things don't go your way, just as much as you made a gain, you're going to make that loss. So at the end of the day, did you really make a gain? You probably didn't, because you probably had to eat your hat somewhere. At some point, you have to be comfortable enough to take a position somewhere on what do you want. Do you want the money or do you want the Bitcoins? And trading is one thing. Where you take your position is, where do you stand is another thing. And I guess it's up to each individual. But at the end of the day, you really got to ask yourself, why are you doing this? And a lot of people will say, well, I'm doing it for the money, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think it's just short-sighted on that end, because you can do so much more if you go beyond the money part of this, which I've been kind of mentioning. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. Last thing I'm going to talk about is something that I've been doing here and that I finally have accomplished by being here in Tampa. And there's a reason why I'm establishing these nodes in certain places. And believe it or not, I just made a rose line. Now you probably asking yourself, what the hell is a rose line? Well, maybe you've heard of this, but it's also known as the meridian line. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a horizontal line somewhere on a map, global map. Well, that just goes up and down, right? Sometimes it's called the rose line, sometimes it's called the meridian line. Meridian prime is another word. Well, I've literally created my own rose line. And you're probably wondering, what the hell am I talking about? Well, I've literally created a line, and I'm calling it a rose line because we're literally wherever rose goes, I follow. And using rose, I'm creating a line. I know that sounds kind of weird, it's kind of strange, but as I'm creating this line on the nodes that I'm creating, it actually is directing me where I need to go. And not only can you create one, you can actually create multiple until you are, I guess in a way it's helping me build a network, but using the rose line literally takes me all over the world. The rose line that I created cuts across part of Florida, in through Texas and into California and through all these other states. From there, it actually goes into Africa and into Australia. And so it's a line that I need to follow So as I create these lines, I mean, it literally tells me where I need to build my next node. I know that sounds strange, and you're probably wondering how you create a rows line. Well, you need rows to do that. Now, if you don't have a rows, I don't know what to say. I know I have one, but question is, do you have one, and how do you create one? Well, I'll probably get that into another episode, or maybe not. After all, this is a trade secret. So, anyways, another thing I'm doing, and I'll save that for another episode I talked about, but in this episode I'll cut this short from here, wrap it up real quick, but hopefully this chart analysis will help you, and I'll go back to 3-day, and there you go. Now you're starting to see a pattern here where you're seeing a downward triangle here, and now that it's starting to form, you're getting a better idea of what probably position you need to take. And not only that, but you can also now determine a date, a time frame. Pull that back a little bit more. So now you could actually develop a time frame of what could happen. Now you got something to work with in, placing your positions, your buying order, your sell order positions. And so hopefully that helps. And that takes a lot of the mystery out of why this is happening, how this is happening. Anyways, I talk long enough here. I'll cut this short here. So feel free to like, dislike, or do a video response. Till next time, stay tuned. Bye.